and I just wanted to talk to you about something that everybody makes a YouTube channel about with color pencils, and that is which one is best. And it's not about which one is best, it's about which one is best for you. So, one thing nobody talks about is the Pantone color system. Panel, it says the Pantone color system is a collection of colors that are identified with a code. So if we look at our color pencils, it has not only has a name. And that is because it is for us to understand each color. Now if we go back to the website, it says it was first released in 1963 with the aim of creating a universal of color that enables color critic decisions throughout every stage or workflow for the brand of the manufacturer. And the Pantone system is now largely accepted and relied upon by printers, manufacturers, marketers, artists, designers, and others. Its standardized color reproduction system and assists in color matching for identification. Now, if that is true, then why is there so many brands of color pencils, markers, paints? Well, a fiber castle and Prismacolor is what we're going to talk about. And watercolors, if you at the end. So the difference between every single brand is not the colors, but it is the base that the pigment is put into, and then the fillers. We know that Prismacolor, which I have right here, if we look at Prismacolor, Prismacolor is a wonderful pencil. I would recommend this to people that have arthritis or shoulder, elbow, wrist issues. It's great for that because it has a lot of wax in the color pencil. That's the base that the pigment is added to. And if we can see here, I'm doing this. It lays down wonderfully. And that is because it's a very soft lead or soft core. So first we need to decide what base do we want. Here I have Castle or Fiber Castle. Both are excellent. Now if we look at Castles, it lays down just as well. But the difference is this has oil in it, has more oil. It does have wax, but it has less wax than Prismacolor, which means that you're going to be able to do a lot more layers when you're doing your art project. It also has less fillers or binding agent. It has more pigment. So then that comes to the question, the fiber castle or castle, you're going to have to push a little bit harder. It's more of a work to get that, but for artists or beginner artists, if you want to start out with a simple picture and a simple group of castle, you don't need the whole 120 colors. You can start out with a small group of fiber castles if you like the harder version. And that's the basics of deciding which is best for you. If you have shoulder or elbow, wrist, maybe arthritis or hand disfiguration, or you just don't like to color for a long period of time and you want the same results as a fiber castle, then definitely go with the Prismacolor because it has a lot more wax in it and it's a lot easier to lay down. But I also want you to understand that with Prismacolor, after your picture is done, sometimes you will get a white haze. And if you're a professional artist and you want to sell your painting or sell your picture, I would suggest to use very little of this on your picture. Sometimes I will use both and I will use this to do the highlights, which is perfectly fine. But remember, wax and oil will eventually separate. Just like if you left wax from a candle that's red on a piece of red on a piece of paper after you burnt the candle, you can scrape off the wax, but the oil from the the color of the candle is going to be left on the paper. So that's one trick that you might have to really consider when you are buying colored pencils. But in reality, all you have to understand is that the colors are all the same. It's what kind of base do you want? More oil or more wax? You can also get like Fiber Castle and Prismacolor both have watercolor. So within each of those you have the watercolors and they're more pressed, and they have a bit of filler in them and a base in them to keep them in a pencil form. So it doesn't matter which one is best on the internet, it's which is best for you. And that's the tricky question that everybody seems to be asking. And in reality, the bases are what's the most important thing. And then within each of those brands, you have a student grade and you have an artist grade. The student grade is going to have more base and more binding agent and more filler. You're going to use less of the pencil, whereas a professional or artist grade is going to have a lot more pigment, it's going to have less base, it's going to have less filler, and you're going to use the pencil a lot faster. It depends on if you're a professional or you're just starting out and how much money you have. I like both Prismacolor and Fiber Castle and also Castle itself, and I use them both together. Sometimes I will just do one of Castle, the other one I'll do just a Prismacolor, but I usually don't sell paintings that are fully Prismacolor because they have what is called a bloom or a waxy haze like we talked about. because you're the artist and you know your tools the best. So that's my take on understanding color pencils. It's also a good